What's going on, everybody? It's Grant from Viking Armament. We're getting ready to head to Alaska to the Dillinger River Outfitters Camp to hunt some black bears. So I just kind of wanted to give you a gear breakdown of what I'm taking. So there's plenty of gear on the market. There's plenty of good companies out there, but this is the gear I use and this is why I use it. Again, there's more than one ways to skin a cat. So this is just what I use and why. So starting from the top here, I am very, very excited about this new pack from Kifaru. This is the new 44 mag. I've been running the 44 mag for well over 10 years now, and I'm very, very excited about the new setup. So this is off of the carbon frame, and this is the new 44 mag bag. So the 44 mag has some really cool features as far as the organization of the bag that make me like it. So a few of the new features on this 44 mag from the old 44 mag, my favorite one is definitely going to be the gun and bow carrying system here on the bottom. It's got some straps on the front to lock everything in super tight and snug, and it's super easy to drop your, whether it's a rifle or a bow, in the front of the pack. So I'm very excited about that system there. It's got webbing on the front just like normal, a few more places for straps. On this pack, how I have it configured, I just have a standard Nalgene pocket on one side, medium belt pouch on the other side, and then a medium belt pouch on the front. You can add plenty more accessories and pockets on this pack, but how this pack is broken up, there's plenty of pockets inside and plenty of other organization. So it's pretty solid setup just like this. The side pockets are really nice for spotting scopes, tripods, things like that, and then all the internal pockets are really nice for organization as well. So starting on the front of the pack here, obviously we have a Viking Armament Apex. I'm really excited about this setup. So this is chambered in the new 7 backcountry. So another cool piece of gear that I always use is a solo sleeve. So this is just a solo sleeve by Solo Hunter. Really nice to protect your rifle system. There's plenty of companies that make these as well. Most of them are super cheap. So it's a really good setup as far as protecting your rifle goes. So starting on the rifle here, 7 backcountry. This is our Apex model. It's off of our new Viking Armament Outlaw Action. This is going to be a benchmark carbon 18-inch barrel, topped with a silencer suppressor here. And then this is out of our magnesium chassis block, carbon components and a folding adapter, and a Trigger Tech special flat bar trigger. I got an Atlas BT10 bipod on here, and it's all topped with a Nightforce NX8 2.5 to 20 power, and they are in our new Viking rings. So super excited about this system. Again, it's the 7 backcountry chambered. We're shooting the 175s factory, and it's running right at 3,000 feet per second. This rifle's had less than 30 rounds down the pipe. It's already going that fast. So super, super excited about this round. And we'll see what it does on some bears here shortly. Diving further into the pack here, so you'll see another thing that I have mounted on the outside is a larger tripod. I always carry a smaller and a larger tripod just because the larger one is great for not only shooting off of, but if I'm running my binos on the smaller tripod, I can run a spotter on this one and then I'm not having to go back and forth. So this is the Leofoto 324 with the ball head, and it's all Arca Swiss compatible. So you can just put your rifle in the tripod. I'll show you here. You can just put your rifle in the tripod, and then as far as shooting from a standing or kneeling or sitting position, makes it super nice. So you can just pan the tripod around, locks out super tight, and you can use this tripod all the way to a laying down position. I always try to shoot laying down just because I definitely think it's more accurate, but if you're ever in a scenario with taller grass, steeper angles, and need to use the tripod, it's a really nice setup. So again, great to shoot off of. I use it a lot for running my spotting scope while my binos are on my smaller tripod. Jumping to the smaller tripod here, and this is in one of the side pouches. This is the 224, and this is with the pan head. So 224 is a super nice system for running binos, spotter. I run a BTX 95 off this just fine, and even for shooting off of, if you're in a pinch, it'll work just fine. So this goes all the way well past standing height for myself, so it's a super nice system. and that is the 224 and the 324 from Leofoto. Again, there's plenty of tripods out there. I use these from a customer service perspective. They're great. Price point is awesome, and I'm very hard on gear. I've been using both of these tripods here for well over 2 years, and they're still in phenomenal shape, and they get used essentially year round. So jumping into the pack here, on the other side, in the other wing, is going to be my Swaro ATX 85 spotter. So I've ran spotters from Swaro all the way from the 65 to the 115 for trips like this. This is more of like a springtime style hunt. So for a trip like this, I really like the 85. The 85 for me is a little bit nicer. It just lets in a little bit more light than the 65. The weight and size of the 65 is awesome, but the 85 is what I always fall back on. It lets in a little bit more light and still get you everything you need out of a spotter. So that is what I run for a spotting scope setup. Jumping in the pack here, let's see, we'll just start on the front. So this pocket here, I always have easy to access stuff in, and the first thing in here is going to be the Kifaru rain cover. So especially when I'm hunting in Alaska, this is a major necessity. Also in a dry bag, and I always keep this in a dry bag just because it's stuff that if it gets wet, it's going to be a problem. And in here is just a standard first aid kit. This just has everything start to finish, from a needle to sew yourself up, quick clot, band-aids, you know, Neosporin, X, Y, and Z, just a bunch of standard stuff in here for the most common little injuries while you're in the field. And this is a survival bivvy. I have spent multiple nights in one of these, and it's definitely a must-have if you're out, especially if you can get a fire started, even if you just have standard layers, not much for insulation layers. This definitely seems to do the job. So on the top of the pack here, just start on this top front pocket. Again, the organization on this pack is awesome. So in the top front pocket here, major necessity, this is my Garmin inReach. The new iPhones do have satellite texting, but I definitely don't trust it yet. So especially going to Alaska, and if we're gonna split up and have a crew of guys, being able to communicate back and forth off the inReach is a really nice option. So inReach goes everywhere with me. Also, a good charging station. This one is solar, so that way if it runs out, this gets me 6 or 8 charges, whether it's on my phone or the inReach, or even if I'm charging a camera or something like that. So this is a super nice system as well. Diving into a bigger pocket, so phone scopes. Always throw my phone scopes in. They're an absolute necessity. So this is the Carbon Pro, and then this is just the standard OG. But phone scopes are a must-have for me. These are the half gloves, the Merinos from Kifaru. If you can tell, if you watch the Kodiak video, I'm a massive glove guy. So those are the half gloves from Kifaru, the Merinos, and then the Merino beanie as well. And again, this is like a springtime style hunt, so I'm not taking a whole lot for insulation layers. Okay. So also a little bit heavier set of gloves, just nice to have, and those are waterproof as well. So as far as gloves, beanie, I always have a neck gaiter as well. It's just super nice to have. Diving into the pack, the top pocket here, again, easy to access. Definitely a must-have, a couple good headlamps. So I always have one headlamp, an extra headlamp, and extra batteries for both headlamps, because if you're ever running at night, it's definitely something that you need. So I always carry extras. Also, Avalon with extra blades. This is definitely going to get put to use here shortly. And then some pyro putty. Very, very nice for starting fires, especially in a scenario like Alaska when everything's wet typically. So pyro putty is definitely good to have. These are the hybrid game bags from Kifaru. So with us hunting bears, the hybrids work awesome. So especially black bears. So taking the hybrid game bags, again, I've used these for well over 3 years or going on my 3rd year here. And they're just super nice. Throw them in the sink when you get home, get most of the blood and everything out of them, throw them in the washing machine. They're still brand new. You could literally drag these behind a truck and they're still gonna be fine. Definitely well worth it. Some layers on the inside here. So this is just my outer shell from Born Primitive. And this is just a nice wind stopping, pretty waterproof layer to put over everything as an outer shell. Super nice setup there. And I do have a few other things in here that I'll have on, but I just wanted to show you because I really like the pieces of gear. So this is a heavier weight merino base from Born Primitive. And this is a little bit lighter weight merino base. So I typically run the heavier weight on the base, this weight on top of the base, and then you can shed them throughout the day if you need to. And I typically run just a standard medium weight hoodie on top of these as well. Some Born Primitive Frontier 2.0 pants. I love these pants. I've been running these, the Frontier, ever since they first came out, and then the Frontier 2.0 since they came out as well. Super nice weight, got the hip zips, and a bunch of really cool pocket features. So the material just holds up super well, breathes super well. It's nice and stretchy, more of an athletic style. So I really like the 2.0s. Further into the pack here, my insulation layers. This is their Born Primitive vest. It's a phenomenal layer. I really enjoy the vest, big vest guy. So it's a really nice setup there. And then the 2.0 heavy on the puffy is what I have used the most. I have their lightweight puffy and the heavy puffy, but I really like the heavy. So it's a really nice system. When you have the merino bases, a mid layer, like a sweatshirt style mid layer with the vest and the top puffy, you very rarely will have to put that outer shell over everything just to lock in all that heat, but it's a very warm system when you do. Another pocket on the top here. This is just gonna be kind of my go-to personal stuff. To run you through this, we've got some water tablets, a couple different lighters, lighter from Pyro Putty, some moleskin, and some different tape, some electrical tape there, different batteries, whether it's for my rangefinder or headlamps, anything like that, chapstick, a few drugs here, and then inhaler and a night force tool. I have a couple of these floating around. It's just super nice if anything ever happens with your rifle in the field. You can use that to get everything dialed back in. Also some moleskin. If you're ever doing an excessive amount of hiking, get some blisters. Moleskin's really good to have. So one more thing in the bottom of the pack here, definitely a necessity in Alaska, is going to be the rain gear by Born Primitive. So these are the tops and bottoms, and the rain gear, it's nice, lightweight, easy to throw in the bottom of the pack. This stuff rides everywhere with me, and we're definitely going to be using it on this hunt for sure. Any other stuff in this pack, just on the side here, I have just my standard snacks, whatever I'm gonna have throughout the day. And then also, I've got our Viking Armament bullet holder here. It's got a dozen more rounds in it. The idea is to not use these, but got a dozen more rounds. Super handy. I hate when a hard case or something is bouncing around in your pack. So this is nice, lightweight, low profile. You can put it on your hip, put it on your belt pouch, whatever, another dozen rounds. That makes that handy there. And then I always carry at least a Nalgene in the side pocket here and one or two more of these in the pack. Years ago, I did away with carrying water bladders just because I had a horror story. My brother and I were super far in. There was absolutely zero water. I was carrying a giant bladder. It broke, got everything in my pack wet, and also I was completely out of water. So I do not carry water bladders anymore. Essentially just stick to Nalgene style stuff. Of course, if we're going on a super big 3 or 4 nighter, then maybe some water bladders, but typically no. Anything else that doesn't go in the pack that is a necessity in my mind is I have horrible feet, so I have to be really nice on my feet. These are the crispy brick stalls, so I really enjoy these boots. Hold up super well, nice and lightweight. It's a good Alaska boot, good all year round boot, so I really enjoy these. Sheep feet is definitely a necessity for me. I've worn sheep feet for 3 years now and really enjoy those. And then one more cool thing in here. My dad is a massive infomercial guy. He's always buying cool stuff off the internet. And I thought he got infomercialed on these. These are the coolest things since sliced bread. These are the hollow socks. Seriously, best thing ever made. I wear these year round, whether it's summertime, springtime shed hunting, winter chasing lions, and whether it's insulated or non-insulated boots as well. They keep your feet cool when it's hot. They keep your feet warm when it's cold. The hollow socks are badass. Definitely get you some of those. As far as on my bino harness system here, this may not be the most optimal bino harness setup because it's probably like 16 or 17 pounds, but I like to have everything in my bino harness because I leave my pack a lot. So this on the bottom here, it's got my Glock 10 mil, Gucci Glock. So got full mag, some bear loads on the bottom there, especially when we're in Alaska. I don't carry that most places, but in Alaska, of course, I do, especially when we're hunting bears. So in the actual bino harness itself, I've got my Swarovski 1556 SLCs. I've ran the 1556s for a long time. I cannot get away from these binos. I really, really enjoy them. Some applications, they're definitely too much, but our style of hunting, a lot of big country, big glassing, I really like the 15s, and I run my binos off the tripod 90% of the time. Obviously some freestanding stuff, and they still seem to be okay with the freestanding style stuff as well. But 1556s are my go-to. On the side, radio, typically always have a radio. And in the rangefinder pocket here, the SIG Kilo 8K. So this has been my go-to rangefinder for a long time. I can program a bunch of ballistic profiles in there. So like going up here, not only will I have my ballistic profile, but the other guys I'm hunting with, I'll put their ballistic profiles in here as well. And that way, if a scenario happens to where they can't get their rangefinder handy, nobody's scrambling around, I can click over to their rifle and then give them a dope, just like they would on theirs. In the side pocket here, I always put way too much stuff in here. Got a phone scope adapter for my 1556s here, another lighter, some chapstick, Night Force tool. I've got paracord, Leatherman, all sorts of little miscellaneous stuff in here. And also a lens cleaner on the outside to wipe your, whether it's your optics or your rifle scope. In the front, just a bunch of random miscellaneous stuff. Got some TP, lens cleaner, pin for signing tags, must needed spoon for Mountain House. Folds up, I always keep it in the bino harness. Got a few memory cards in here if we ever come across the long lost trail cam, need to swap memory card. And another pocket in the front here, and see what I got in here. So a couple batteries for the SIG. The only con that I see with that SIG Kilo 8K is it eats batteries, especially depending on the setting you're on. So a couple extra batteries for the rangefinder. Also some earplugs for those guys that don't run suppressed. And that pretty much covers that there. This whole harness here is obviously the Kifaru harness. It's really cool just based on different attachments. I keep my tags in the back pocket here. And then this is their new Mesa harness shoulder strap system. Been using this for well over a year now, and it's a really, really nice setup. Also, trekking poles. These are definitely a must-have. I'm a big trekking pole fan, so definitely a good set of trekking poles is a must-have. And that pretty much covers everything that I'm going to have on more of a day style hunt. This whole setup with everything I'll have as soon as I get some water in there is right around 45 pounds. And again, there's a bunch of really good gear on the market. There's more than one item that works out there. This is just what I use. Not only do I use this from a fit and function perspective, but a customer service perspective. I really enjoy working with all these companies, whether it's from Born Primitive, Kifaru, Phone Scope, Crispy, the guys at Leophoto or Swaro, and of course the crew over here at Viking Armament. So this is gear that I love and enjoy, and we're gonna put it to the test here in a couple days.